Okay, so it's not gonna stay right here. I need something to prop this up. Here, hold on 1 second. Okay, so yesterday when I did the reading, number one, I was using different earphones. I'm testing out these ones to see if they're any better or worse or whatever have you. Yesterday when I did the reading, I was interrupted by a call from my work. So I had to do 2 parts in that video, and if it happens again today, which I got a feeling it's going to, because I'm supposed to be driving already, but I slept in today. But I got 3 days to get there, and they shouldn't be bothering me. Anyways, work troubles, you know what I mean? This is Genesis 11 through 20. This is me reading the Bible 10 chapters at a time till we get through the whole thing. Here's day 2. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed through from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said to one another, Go to, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime they had for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build a city and a tower, whose top may reach to heaven, or reach unto heaven. And let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, they all have one language. This they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language. They may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old, and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived after he begat Arphaxad 500 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Arphaxad lived 530 years, and begat Salah. And Arphaxad lived after he begat Salah for 103 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Salah lived 30 years, and begat Eber. And Salah lived after he begat Eber 433 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Eber lived 430 years, and begat Peleg. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years, and begat Reu. And Peleg lived after he begat Reu 209 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Reu lived 230 years, and begat Sherug. And Reu lived after he begat Sherug 207 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Sherug lived 30 years, and begat Nahor. And Sherug lived after he begat Nahor 200 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Nahor lived 29 years, and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after begat Terah 119 years, and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years, and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran begat Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah, in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees. And Abram and Neruk took them wives, and Abram's wife's name was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah. And the daughter Haran, the father of Milcah, the father of Iscah, but Sarai was barren, and she had no child. And Terah took Abram's his son, and Lot the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife, They went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan, and there they came into Haran. They came unto Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of my country, out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto the land where that I will shew thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy great name, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and I curse them that curse thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So Abram departed, as the Lord had spoken unto him. Lot went with him, and Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai's wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance, and that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land. And the Lord appeared unto Abram and said, Unto thy seed I will give the land. And there builded he upon an altar unto the Lord, who appeared unto him. And he removed from thence unto the mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west and Hai on the east. And there he builded an altar unto the Lord, and called upon the name of the Lord. Abram had journeyed, going on still toward the south. There was a famine in the land. Abram went down to Egypt to sojourn there, for a famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai's wife, Behold, now I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians see thee, that they will say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. I say, pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. And it came to pass, when Abram was come into Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman, that she was very fair. The princes also of Pharaoh saw her, and commended her before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house, and he entreated Abram well for her sake. And he had sheep and oxen, and he asses, and manservants, and maidservants, and she asses, and camels. And the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. Pharaoh called Abram and said, Why is it that thou hast done this to me? Hast done unto me? What is this that thou hast done unto me? Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Why saidst thou, She is my sister? So I might have taken her to me to wife. Now therefore, behold thy wife, take her and go thy way. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had. And Abram went up out of Egypt, and he and his wife, and all that he had, Lot with him, into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. He went on his journeys from the south, even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning of between Bethel and Hai, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first, where Abram called on the name of the Lord. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was so great that they could not dwell together. And there was a strife between the herdsmen of Abram's cattle and the herdsmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land, or Perizzite dwelled there in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, between my herdmen and thy herdmen. For we For we be brethren. I'm sorry. It's hard to read like they used to speak. It's like, that's why a lot of people don't like the older ones, especially the Geneva Bible. I'm getting off track, but I'm sorry. Excuse me. I apologize for my mistakes in reading. For we be brethren. It is not the whole land before thee. It is not the whole land before thee. Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of the Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zoar. Then Lot shows him all the plain of the Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other. Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. For all the land which thou seest, to thee I will give it, and to thy seed forever. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed number all. Then shall thy seed also be numbered. Arise and walk through the land in the length of it, and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee. Then Abram removed his tent, and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, the king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Brisha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemember, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zor. All these were joined together in the vale of Siddim, which is the salt sea. 12 years they served Chedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year came Chedorlaomer, I don't know, and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims in Ashtaroth Karnaim, and the Zuzims in Ham, and the Amims in Shaveh Karam. Kiriathim, and the Horites in their Mount Seir unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came into Mishpat, which is in Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites and the Amorites that dwelled in Hazon Tamar. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, the same as Zor, and they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim. With Chedorlaomer, the king of Elam, with the title king of the nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings with 5. And the vale of Siddim was full of slim pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountains. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and away all their victuals, and they went their way. And they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the place of Mamre the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abraham. And when Abraham heard that his brothers was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. He divided himself against them, he and his servants by night, and smote them and pursued them into Hobah, which is the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and he brought again his brothers Lot his goods, and all the women, and also all the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and the kings that were with him, the valley of Sheva, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abraham of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand. And he gave them tithes of all. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the persons, and take the goods to thyself. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up mine hand to the Lord. I have lifted up mine hand unto the Lord, to the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take a thread from even to a shoe latchet, that will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich. Okay, let me read that again. That I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their portion. After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. Abram said, Lord God, wilt thou give me so I go? And Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing it I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus? And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thy own bowels shall be thine heir. He brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now towards heaven, and tell the stars if they are able to be numbered. Tell the stars if thou... Oh my gosh, I'm so silly right now. Why am I not being able to read this? And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am the Lord, brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land, and to inherit it. And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove of a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and delivered them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell on Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know a surety that thy seed shall be the stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall be afflict them for 400 years. And also a nation whom they shall serve will I judge. Afterwards they shall come out with a great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace, and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. And the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, Unto thy seed I have given the land, unto thy seed I have given the land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river of the Euphrates. The Kenites, the Kenizzites, the Kadmonites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Rephaims, the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Gershites, and the Jebusites. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go into my maid, that it may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened unto the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And when he went into Hagar, she conceived, and when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Abram, My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarai, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel Lord found her by a fountain of the water in wilderness, by the fountain in the way of Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence comest thou, and whither wilt thou go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Return to thy mistress, and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, and it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. And he will be a wild man in his hand. He will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. And she called the name of the Lord that spoke unto her, Thou God seest me. For she said, Have I also here looked after him that seeth me? Wherefore the well was called Beer-shalai Roi. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare, Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the mighty God, walk before me, and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and I will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be called Abraham. For a father of many nations I have made thee. And I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee, and I will establish a covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in the generations, for everlasting covenant. to be a God unto thee and thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, and all the land of Canaan for everlasting possession. I will be their God. And God said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep the covenant, therefore, thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which I shall keep between you and me and thy seed after thee. Every man and child among you shall be circumcised. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be token of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations that he is that is born in your house, or brought with money from a stranger, which is not thy seed. He that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with money must needs be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man child whose flesh foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. And God said unto Abraham, As for Sarai thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her and give her a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she will be a mother of nations. Kings of peoples shall be of her. And Abraham fell on his face and laughed and said in his heart, Shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old, and Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And Abraham said unto God, O is that Ishmael might live before thee. And God said, Sarai thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. I'm sorry, you gave me 1 second. I'm sorry. I need to do this on camera, but... Oh, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. That's better. I'm so sorry. There's alcohol. Clean off my hands. I don't want to touch the Bible with my dirty moco hands. My dirty booger hands. So I wipe it up with alcohol. And dry it off with this rag, which I clean my phone screen with. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that. Apologies. I was bothering me for at least the last 5 chapters. I was like, I got boogers. Sorry. I'm sorry. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and I will make him fruitful, and I will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, and which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. And he left off talking with him, and God had went up from Abraham. Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were brought with his money, and every male among the men of Abraham's house. He circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the selfsame day, as God said unto him. Abraham was 90 years old at the time when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. In the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son. And all the men of his house, born in the house, and brought with money from a stranger, were circumcised with him. And the Lord prepared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door, and in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes, and he looked. Lo, there 3 men stood by him, and when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door. And he bowed himself toward the ground, and said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from my servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and wash yourselves under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread, and comfort ye your hearts, after ye shall pass on. And for therefore are ye come to your servant? And they said, So do as thou hast said. And Abraham hastened to the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth. And Abraham ran into the herd, and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it to a young man, and he hasted to dress it. And he took butter and milk, and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them, and he stood by them under a tree, and they did eat. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah the wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it at the tent door which was behind him. And now Abraham and Sarah were old and stricken with age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, After I wax old shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also? And the Lord said unto Abraham, Wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, Shall I surely bear a child which I am old? Is there anything too hard for the Lord? At the time appointed I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. And Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. And a man rose up from thence, and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them, to bring them on the way. And the Lord said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? Seeing Abraham surely become great and a mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know that he will command children in his household, and after him they shall keep the way of the Lord, to do justice and to judgment, and the Lord may bring upon Abraham which he hath spoken of him. And the Lord said, Because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me, and if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before the Lord. And Abraham drew near and said, Wilt thou destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? Be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked. That be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And the Lord said, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. And Abraham answered and said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord, which I am but dust and ashes. Peradventure there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy the city for the lack of 5? And he said, If I find 45, I will not destroy it. And he spake to him yet again, and said, Peradventure there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake. And he said to him, Oh, not let the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure there shall be 30 found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak upon the Lord. Peradventure there shall be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. And he said, Oh, let the Lord not be angry. And I speak yet but this once, peradventure 10 shall be found. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And the Lord went his way, and as soon as he left communing with Abraham, Abraham returned to his place. And there came 2 angels to Sodom at Avon, and Lot sat at the gate of Sodom. Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself to his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold, now, my lords, turn, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned unto him, and entered his house, and he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, and even the men of Sodom compassed the house round about, both old and young, and the people from every quarter. They called unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men which came unto thee this night? Bring them out to us, so that we may know them. And Lot went to the door, and Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have 2 daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do to them as good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for they four came under the shadow of my roof. And they said, Stand back. And they say again, This one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now, okay, what? And they said, Stand back. And they said again, This one fellow came into sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now we will deal worse with thee and with them than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man. Even Lot came near to break the door. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house, and shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. And the men said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides son-in-law, and thy sons and thy daughters? Whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place, for we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spake to his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Get up, you out of your place, for the Lord will destroy the city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. When the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest they should be consumed in the iniquity of the city. While he lingered, the men laid up hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful unto him. And they brought him forth, and set him without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them abroad, that he said, Escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou should be consumed. And Lot said unto them, Oh, not so, my lord. Behold, now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto me, saving life. Which thou hast showed unto me in saving life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Behold, now the city is near to flee, and it is a little one. O me, escape to thither. Is this not a little one? And my soul shall live. And he said unto him, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, and I will not overthrow the city for which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou hast come thither. Therefore the name of the city will be called Zoar. The sun was risen upon the earth. Then Lot returned into Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew the cities and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham got up early in the morning in the place where he stood before the Lord. And he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah with all the land of the plain. Beheld, lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke in a furnace. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, God remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst to overthrow, when he overthrew the cities with which Lot dwelt. And Lot went up out of Zoar, and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters was with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar. And he dwelt in the cave, and he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old, there is not a man in the earth to come into us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed for our father. That we may Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine at night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass in the morning row that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father, let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine at night also, and the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus both the daughters of Lot were with child by their father, and the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. The same is the father of Moabites unto this day. Yet the younger she also bore a son, and called her name Ben-Ammi, which is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah, his wife, She is my sister. And Abimelech king of Gerar sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night, and said to him, Behold, thou art but a dead man for the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation? He said, Not unto me. She is my sister. And she herself said, He is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this. And God said unto him in a dream, Yea, I know that thou did this in the integrity of thy heart. I also withheld thee from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her. Now therefore restore this man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for thee, and thou shalt live. And if thou not restore her not, know thou that thou shalt surely die, thou and all that. This is reading like this. It's confusing. It's hard. And if thou restore her not, know thou that thou shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine. Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning, and called his servants, and told all these things in their ears, and that men were sore afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham, and said unto him, What hast thou done to us? What have I offended thee? And thou hast brought upon me and my kingdom a great sin. Thou hast done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What sawest thou? And thou hast done this thing. And Abraham said, Because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister, and she is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. And it came to pass, when God caused me to wander from my father's house, I said unto her, This is thy kindness which thou hast showed unto me. At every place whither we come, say of me, He is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants, and gave them unto Abraham, and restored him his wife, Sarah his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before thee. Dwell there, it pleaseth thee. Dwell where it pleaseth thee. And said unto Sarah, Behold, I have given thy brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to thee a covering of the eyes. Unto all that are with thee, and with all the other. Thus she was reproved. So Abraham prayed unto God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants, and they bare children. For the Lord had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. That is chapters 11 through 20 of Genesis in about 45 minutes. So it doesn't take that long, even with the difficulty of reading in that older type of language. It confuses me a lot. I know that when I'm just trying to read it. I mean, I understand it. It confuses me a little bit with the order in which it's in, you know. So put this Bible away. I hope you guys have a good day. God bless. Do something good for the Lord today. Don't forget to tell the Lord that you hope he has a good day, because I feel like we don't give him enough, you know, enough credit for all the things we ask of him. We always ask of him stuff. We're always asking for him stuff, but, you know, tell him to do something for himself today. Something that makes him happy. He deserves it. God bless y'all.